Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Back to Joy show. My name is Paul Raphael. I teach spirituality. I write books. And guess what? I also teach yoga. here today with me are, again, my two gorgeous, beautiful co-hosts. And I will let each and one of them to introduce themselves to you. So please go ahead. Sarah or Jamie?
I'll go ahead. My name is Sarah, and I'm an angel intuitive and life coach. And I'm here to share the joy with these two lovely gentlemen.
Awesome. Hi, everybody. My name's Jamie Smith. I'm a certified law of attraction coach and a spiritual comedian. And I love, love, love to help people to step into the life of their dreams with joy and with ease. So today we've got a really, really juicy topic. It's one of my favorite topics, the topic of fear and moving beyond it. So, Paul, take it away. Because I'm afraid.
Are you really? So we will be addressing that topic, which is really essential, because the course in Miracle teaches that there are two fundamental forces in the universe that are, love and fear. That's it. When you really go down to the gist of it, that's what you're left with. Love on one hand and fear on the other hand. And in essence, when we develop our own, I would say, spiritual path, and when we start really venturing and asking us the real question, it is true that ultimately this is a distinction to make. What am I afraid of versus what do I really love? What would I really love in my life to happen? And for me, that's the teaching that I'm sharing is what I call the joy essence. What is your joy? What really makes you feel joyful? What brings you aliveness? What brings you that sense of enthusiasm? Enthusiasm means entheos. En means in, and theos means God. That's come from the Greek. Enthusiasm. What makes you in your spirit? What makes you in your God essence? In what I call the joy essence. So that's really the message, is to understand, okay, if you don't or cannot feel joy, what is the reason? And the reason is fear. And the question again is, why do you feel afraid? What is the fear? What is the fear there to teach you, to tell you? And that's what we would love to discuss tonight. Oh, sorry. Today. For me, it's tonight because I'm in Asia, so it's kind of pitch dark already. But for wherever you're listening, especially in the US, of course, or North America, it is your daytime. So that's the topic we'll be discussing. I would say that ultimately, for me, I would define fear as resistance. Fear can be defined as resistance in the sense that we simply are contracting ourselves, contracting our energy field, contracting our heart by not wanting to trust and surrender to what is going on, what is happening. And I promise you that in any situation you may encounter in your life, it's always going to come down to this: what am I resisting? What am I not trusting? What am I not, listening to? And that's why, fear is always a message. And ultimately, as we grow on our spiritual path, we realize that there come times when you will start to dance with your fear. Mm-hmm. That's really the power where you can transform your fear into excitement. You can transform your fear into your challenge, become, like a very highly exciting opportunities, because you're like, wow, I can't wait to really find out, what that fear is there to tell me, what that fear is there to let me know, what that fear is there to teach me. And of course, it might take a while before we get to that part. But ultimately, I feel in my heart that, you know, we are here to dance with our fears. We are here to really see fear as an opportunity, as a doorway, you know, to in essence to reach our joy, to truly allow our desires, our true passion to come forth. Because, you know, a lot of time that's what's going on. It's like, to me, is the essence of who we are really is the qualities, attribute of who we are is adventure. We're extremely adventurous. We're extremely exploring. We're extremely creators, you know, in our essence, you know. We love to go and venture and to discover new territories and explore. That's really, in essence, you know, who we are. And for me, that joy is really that part of it. And the question always is, if you're feeling fear, what are you resisting? So Jamie shared with us earlier a very interesting insight with regards to the improv class. And Jerry, take it away. You know, tell us what you know, what you learned about fear during those classes.
Yeah, well, I've been doing improv for the past year, but when I studied acting, you know, 20 years ago, and in even my acting class, and the improv, they said the same thing, was that, you know, the thing that you're afraid to do is the thing that you're the best at. And it always was like, really? Like, but I'm afraid to do it. So then we resist it, right? So very often that is the case. You know, if you look around, the thing that you're afraid to do very often is the thing that you are, that you're the best at.
Yes, or the thing that you really want, you know, or what you truly desire in your heart, you know, because
but you're afraid.
Yes, because fear, you know, in my case, you know, I was afraid to quit my corporate position. You know, I was working as a lawyer for 15 years. And for me, that there was, I mean, although I had been through my spiritual shift, there was still a lot of attachment to it.
Yeah.
I would say that the major and first attachment was security, was that false sense of security, that false sense of, you know, this is the only way I can pay my bills, or this is what can give me, you know, like security and safety. And the same thing goes for relationship. Thousands, millions, if not billions of people stay in relationships because they're afraid to leave. Ultimately, they're afraid, I think for many cases, they're afraid to be alone. You know, so I mean, there are so many situations. You know, you may be, you know, afraid to speak up your truth. You may be afraid to tell your parents that you're gay. You may be afraid to have the real conversation with your mother because she keeps nagging you all the time, or your father because you know, there's really that sense where you feel that you're not the relationship, you know, is not respectful. You're not being seen for who you are. So there are so many, you know, avenues where we cannot be authentic. We cannot speak our truth because of fear. So it is extremely, you know, it's fundamental because you know, people cannot truly reach their joy. They cannot truly be fully alive and fully human because of that, you know, because of that fear. So how about you? Sarah?
Yeah, I feel the same, especially with the corporate job, because I was having that same fear, and it was like I talked for myself, was like, next year I'm gonna do it. Next year I'm gonna do it. It was so hard to leave, you know, a good paying job, and it's like, how am I gonna bring money in? How is it gonna be stable? And, you know, like realistically, it just doesn't work, you know. And then eventually I was pretty much forced out, and
universe did it for you.
You know.
Yes, exactly. You know, and I know in my case that you know, the question, and I share this in my book, you know, Sacred Joy, Remembering Who You Are. The question that came to me when I was feeling extremely, I was extremely restless. I was very agitated. There was a time in my life where, you know, like there was lots of change at work. And it was going, you know, like the stress level was extremely high. And I was like those kind of, I wouldn't say panic attacks, but those kind of moments where my I could feel like my heart like racing like crazy, you know, whenever I would think about work, or whenever I would have to wake up in the morning and just to open up my emails. Because, you know, at some point I was a teleworker, so I didn't have to go to the office. But just a simple act of everything before was fine, just a simple act of just, you know, like going to my home office and clicking on that inbox and opening those emails was like the most dreading things, you know, the whole day.
Yeah, you balance it out. It's like, what's worse?
Yeah, it's like, what's gonna happen again? What's gonna, you know, Churchill said, just a damn thing after the other. You know, just like, you know, what's gonna land on my plate again? And then I went to that spiritual retreat in Maui, and there was Vivek Kochale, Ramdas, and Wayne Dyer. And
wow.
And I was doing that moment. I was it was very interesting because, you know, during the day I was surrounding by the beautiful energy, but then at night I would have my phone buzzing, or there would, you know, email coming. And because, you know, once you have a certain corporate position, people expect you, even though you're supposedly on PTO, you know, or vacation, you're supposed to check out your emails all the time. And there's really that kind of etiquette where, you know, if you take off 3 days, that's okay. But if you take off, in my case, you know, I took off for 2 weeks. It was like, you know, some people feel like, you know, if they don't check their email after 2 weeks, it might be like you might be missing out for a year, because there might be so many, you know, like changes going on and stuff and whatever. So I've been really in that very stressful corporate environment for 15 years. They're all US corporations, and you know, like public corporation. They were listed, you know, on stock market, which means that you're quarterly driven with your results, with your performance. And so I've been through that stress. And when I was in that spiritual retreat, I was so completely, you know, drained and jaded, that I thought to myself, okay, I can't do this anymore. I really can't do this anymore. And then I heard a voice saying, are you crazy? Of course you can do this. You got to pay your bills. You got, you know, back then, you know, you have 2 mortgages, you know, and you need revenue. You need money to pay your bills. So what are you going to do? So there was really that voice. And then there was this part in me that said, yeah, but I can't do this. I can't do this anymore. It's like every day I wake up that my heart is so contracted. I can't do this anymore. And then at some point, I just heard a voice. I said to me, what would you do if you were not afraid?
Ooh, what a good question.
What would you do if you were not afraid? And then I promise to you, bam, that's when it clicked. And that's when I realized, of course I know what I would do. It was crystal clear. And that is really, you know, one of the first tips I would like to share with the listeners is to ask this question to yourself over and over and over again. Whenever you feel that you're being stuck in a situation, as in English language, you say when you're being in a rut. When you feel like you're being in a rut, ask yourself the question, what would I do if I was not afraid? And that is the most transformative and pivotal and powerful question you can ever ask yourself in any situation, you know, where you feel that you either cannot truly live your passion, you either keep postponing or procrastinating, or you cannot live a relationship, or you cannot live a job, or you cannot truly do what resonates in your heart. The question you need to ask yourself is, what would I do if I was not afraid? And that answer is the way to go. And whether you decide to do it now, or whether you decide to do it, you know, a month from now, or, you know, 5 years from now, or 10 years from now, you will remember that question and you will remember that answer.
That's a good point. I remember being coached once. 5 years ago, I moved across the country and I was so scared and I wasn't too sure what the right time was. And I was getting coached, and my coach said to me, well, what's the fear on a scale of 1 to 10? And I said, it's like a 9. She's like, well, maybe that's a little too extreme. We don't want to go from our comfort zone to our panic zone. She's like, I'm not asking that for you. But like, let's talk about, why do you think it's at a 10? I said, well, I've got to do this. It's going to be too crazy, but maybe in 3 months I'll feel ready. And then, so 3 months later, she checked in with me. So where is it now? And I said, it's about like a 5 or a 6. And she's like, so a lot less fear, but still a little bit of fear. She said, when there's a little bit of fear, when there's mostly joy and just a little bit of fear, you know you're going in the right direction. And what she said was really resonated with me. She said, you don't want to go from your comfort zone to the panic zone. You want to go from the comfort zone to the stretch zone. And I thought that was, so once you've identified like that question that you said, Paul, brilliant question, what would you do if you weren't afraid? Then you know what it is. Like you said, you don't have to do it right away, but you can sort of keep moving into your stretch zone to make it happen. So did you, because I mean, I always tell people too, when I'm working one-on-one with them, like, you don't have to quit your day job like right away if it's going to give you a sense of panic, you know, but sometimes it's the right step for, how did you know, when did you know it was the right?
Well, I would say that, you know, because I had already been through some spiritual, you know, shift and spiritual insights, for me, what was the most important was the feeling of peace that I felt after.
So you had more peace than panic.
Yes, I really felt that deep peace inside, and I knew that it was not an if, it was an when. So, you know, I would say that the whole situation shifted because I knew in my heart, okay, I know now what I need to do. I don't know how I will do it right away, but I know what I need to do. And for me, that was the most, I would say, pivotal part that brought me peace. Because ultimately, I think that, you know, what we need to feel at first, because before we can feel like the joy, I think we first need to feel the peace. At least that's my experience, you know, or then there needs to be a strong element of peace where you feel that you can exhale and you can basically, you know, look at situation with a place in your heart where you have clarity. And I was very clear in my head, in my system, that, okay, I need to leave that job. That's very clear. And then gradually, life took care of me and life supported me. And, you know, in my case, I was able to, I was able to take a sabbatical in my company. So I approached my manager, and I said to him, you know, that, right now, I feel that I need to take a break, and I like to take a sabbatical. And then one of the first questions he said, it was like, "Well, if you want to leave, this is how much money you would get."
Wow! Wow!
Isn't that interesting? So and then and that's how it all went down. Like, and within a month, everything was sealed, was done. And
this is amazing.
I got this very nice, you know, severance package, and everything was done. Everything was truly divinely guided, and that's why, you know, I know that I can tell really that from my own experience, once you're aligning yourself with where life wants to bring you, there is really that assistance, you know, from life. If you want to call it God, if you want to call it source energy, it does not matter. But there is that higher guidance where there is that flow. And it was just, I was really baffled by the simplicity, the flow, the ease there was. And like I said, I had never felt, you know, once I you know, the whole deal was done. And even before that, you know, I felt this amazing, indescribable feeling of relief and joy in my heart. That's when, you know, my true power, I felt that I was really tapping into my true power.
That's amazing.
Yes. So that's why, you know, that line, you know, that your fear really is your guide, that once you listen to that guide, and when you're asking to that guide, okay, what is it that I'm resisting? What is it that I'm, you know, I'm not wanting to trust? That's when, you know, the insights come, you know. And,
I think it's so amazing because I teach a law of attraction tip that says nothing happens until you decide. And so this is our invitation for all of you watching. What is that thing? If you weren't afraid, what would you do? And what have you decided that you are going to create, be, have, do, let go of? What have you decided that you truly, truly desire? I'm just fill in the blank. I've decided, and share with us on our Facebook page, the Back to Joy Show on Facebook, and we'd love to support you. And because, like you said, because as soon as you decide, then it's like the whole universe conspired to help you make it happen. And that's what we also want to remind you. I know Sarah and Paul agree with me when they share that, we believe life loves you. Life loves you. And so and I think we're meant to grow. We're meant to go beyond fear, which is the topic of our show today. We're meant to get out of the stuckness. Stuck is just fear. Stuck is just fear. We're meant to grow beyond that. And it starts with deciding. So that's a perfect perfect example.
Sarah, what would you say is your greatest fear? What would you? Because you. What did you say?
I said drowning.
Drowning. Okay.
But yeah, I mean, if from an emotional standpoint, I feel like my biggest one is like failure. That's what I've been working with. I mean, entering from, the corporate world into your own business, I mean, it's a lot of worthiness, we're putting on our plate. And do I value myself? Am I worthy enough? What if I fail and everyone sees it, kind of thing?
Yes.
So that's been a lot that's been coming up, and
yes,
and just working through, pushing through that fear. I feel like fear is like different doorways. So it's like we're just kind of, okay, let's go through this doorway. All right, we made it. What's the next one? So
yes.
Unless it is a scary, if you're getting chased by someone, that is a real fear.
And can you, if you want sometime now or later, can you I'd love to know what the angels want us to know about moving beyond fear. I think that'd be so cool. Oh, hey, Murdu.
Yes, hey, Murdu. Hi, thanks for joining.
We're talking about going beyond fear, and we're talking about, nothing happens until you decide. And once you decide what you want, by asking the question that Paul said, what would you do if you weren't afraid? And then deciding, the whole universe will conspire to make that, for help you to go in that direction.
Yes.
So if you want to share at any time, feel free to do that.
Yes.
And I think it's interesting too, Paul, because like for my corporate job, I was wanting to quit, but I think I was so scared that it just like I couldn't. And at the last year when I actually got laid off, I was like, I can no longer do this. So I was looking at other options, like maybe I can pull from stocks or 401k, and I was like, I need to get out here. And I feel like that's when the universe opened up and was like, here's your severance package, you're laid off, and it was just so easy.
Yes.
So maybe it was just kind of putting that out there and knowing like it's time now. And then the universe was like, okay, here you go.
Amazing.
Yes. No, there is really, that part of us that, that request us, okay, at some point we have the courage to truly step into our power. Because for me, from a spiritual standpoint, the true question is, the fear is there to remind you of your true power, that you have that strength within you no matter what. And on so many occasions, of course, you don't have to start with the big things. Like if you don't feel good in a relationship, or if that relationship feels really draining, you can't, especially if you're in a marriage, or if you have kids, or, or if there's other, there's other consideration to take into place. Of course, if you ask yourself the question, what would I do if I was not afraid? And the answer, well, I would just walk away. I would just pack my stuff and walk away. Of course, I would say that will trigger panic in you. It's very likely that you will feel some sort of panic, because then all of a sudden your mind, your intellect is like, wait a minute, how am I going to do this? This is crazy. Where am I going to live? How am I going to, especially, if you were saying, stay at mom, and then you don't have any resources or whatnot. Or even if you do have resources, but then you were, you sort of were used to a specific lifestyle. you know, all those, I would say, you know, those emotions that will flow through you and that will trigger that state of panic. So, so I would say that, you know, once you ask the question, so the first element is, again, to ask yourself the question, what would I do if I was not afraid? So that can help you to determine, first of all, okay, there is fear, because it's critical to recognize that there is fear, you know, that if you're feeling stuck, if you can't move, you know, there is fear. The fear is playing a trick on you, because if you were not afraid, you will simply do what you need to do. Like in the case of Sarah, I mean, if she, you know, she knew she was fed up with the job, you know, so, I mean, it was, she knew it already. So, you know, the answer, well, I just quit. I just go. If I don't like it, I'm out, right? But then she can't, because how am I going to pay my bills? Or, you know, how am I going to find a new job? Or how am I going to do this? You know what I mean? So, and then I would say that the second question, to me, it's like, you know, you need then to truly be kind with yourself, and to truly, I would say, talk with your fears, talk to your fears, and ask, and really be in a place where you can truly open your heart and be vulnerable and speak to those fears, you know. And I think that process can help you to come to a place where you feel more at peace. And that space of peace can help you hear what joy essence has in store for you, can hear the higher guidance, because you cannot hear anything if you're in a state of panic. That is impossible. Because because you're really in that state of, you know, that intensity where your mind keeps running and jumping like crazy. And that is like a sort of racket. And when there's racket, of course, you know, you can't hear anything. So you need to be in a space where you really say, okay, fear, I hear you and I accept you. So the second step is to accept the fear. You cannot move beyond it if you don't accept it. So, because the more you will resist it, the more it will fight. The more it will, you know, suppress, you know. So, and that's what happened also in Sarah's situation, where at some point she was like, this is it, you know. I mean, in my case also it happened when, you know, but just to give you, you know, some real life examples. So the second step is really to accept the fear and talk to it, because it has a message for you. It's there to tell you something. So Jamie, Sarah, or Mirdu, would you share anything on that?
Well, I just wanted to, I love this quote. It's from Elizabeth Gilbert. And this is what she wrote to fear. Elizabeth Gilbert, author of Eat, Pray, Love. She said, "Fear, I recognize and respect that you are a part of this family, and so I will never exclude you from our activities, but still your suggestions will never be followed. You're allowed to have a seat and you're allowed to have a voice, but you're not allowed to have a vote. You're not allowed to touch the road maps. You're not allowed to suggest detours. You're not allowed to fiddle with the temperature. Dude, you're not even allowed to touch the radio. But above all else, my dear old familiar friend, you are absolutely forbidden to drive."
Yeah, that's cute. That's cute. Yeah. No, because, you know, in essence, it's really, you know, it is resistance. You know, it's like there is really that life force, that life energy that wants to flow through you, you know. And whether it is, you know, you quitting your job, whether it is you, you know, leaving a boyfriend, a girlfriend, or a relationship, or whether it is you speaking your truth to your parents, or whether there's really that urge within you, that flow within you, that wants to flow, that wants to express itself. And the reason, you know, we block it, because, you know, in another word is resist it, is because you feel fear. I mean, the reason why, someone I know who would love to develop his acting career and who would love to do all those amazing, one-man show and tour the world and become famous and rich and all of that, is one of the reasons, they're, been resisting this is because, they're coming closer to their power. They're coming closer to their greatness. And when that happens, of course, there might be some panic attack because, you're asking yourself, okay, am I worth it? Or, can I really, am I really
good enough? I think that's the thing.
Am I good enough? Yes. Yes.
That's with all the people that I've ever worked with one-on-one. It's like always been the common denominator. Am I good enough? Am I enough? And you are enough. That's something I learned in improv class. So I shared it. And then one of the episodes too, it's like on the first day of improv class, the teacher put his hand on my shoulder and said, Jamie, you're enough. We're enough. Our goals are valid. Our dreams are valid. You're enough.
Yes.
Yes. I think that's important to remember.
Yes. You're enough. And you're also, you truly, to me, what's important is you are, it's okay to be who you are.
Yeah.
It's okay.
It's okay to have resistance too.
Yeah. And yes.
I know Stephen Pressfield was on Oprah and I loved what he said. He's like, my only question I ask at the end of the day is, have I overcome resistance today? Oh, we have being enough. Okay, we have a comment. Can I read that comment?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Being enough is the thing that stops me from moving forward. Right. And it's you and everybody, and like we're not enough. And it's so true. Like first of all, you are enough, just so you know. And being in a place like this for you is perfect because we celebrate you and your gifts. And but I just think it's a mantra I just say to myself over and over: I'm enough. I'm enough. There really, truly is no one better than anyone on this planet. Some people have specific gifts and things they do better, but nobody is better or worse than anybody else. And so I think it's important. And when you know that, then we can move forward. Is there a comment or a question?
You can unmute yourself, Miodua, if you want to. That's.
Oh, I think it's already done.
It's already done. Okay, all right.
The person calling in, I thought maybe had a question. Thank you for sharing that. What do you have to speak on that? Because this is a universal. Thank you, Miriam, for bringing that up. Because you're not alone. You and about 6 billion people really feel that being enough is the thing that stops them from moving forward too. So you're not alone. What do you guys think about that? And then I have some steps I want to share about how to move.
But what I like to ask Miodua is what would you identify as your biggest fear to move forward?
Hey guys, I think it's really maybe feeling like a fraud and like what do I have to offer, and I feel like so inarticulate sometimes, and I don't know, just I'm shy too. I'm just all these things pop up like just as soon as I think yes I'm getting signs, like start making progress, and then I'll be like paralyzed in fear.
Yes.
The small steps suddenly seem like huge, just even doing simple research suddenly seem like massive. And I'm like, I'm just feeling this, I'll just have a lazy day today, and or whatever, I'll make up an excuse and push it back in the day.
Yes, that's very important what you're sharing, because once you're starting to step into your joy, or when you're starting to release the fear, the fear will really fight forcefully, because it will really triggers a lot of insecurities, and that's when you're on the right path. That's when you're on the right path, because it truly means that you are alive, and that you're really feeling that force within you. Because the people that are really depressed, and the people that are really, I would say, aloof and very feeling a lot of boredom, they're actually sort of cut off their emotions, and because that was a way for them to cut off the fear. And for so many people, it's really, I think, it's really an issue, because they're that's why they will tell you, I don't feel any joy, I don't have any passion, I don't have nothing, I don't have any gifts. I don't have any talents. And that's because they cut off themselves for their emotions, because anyone does. Any true person, when you're human, you feel that life force energy, and when you're going to start to go towards your joy or release your fear, you're gonna have really that big battle and that big fight that's gonna start. So you need to you need to be ready, and that's why it's important to learn to talk to them and to learn to dance with them, because that's when you'll be able to I would say transform them and see them as a message, that will tell you, okay, this is where you need to go. But it is like that sort of inner battle that's going to happen, and that's I would say the third element is that be ready for that fight to be. But when you are in a space where you can embrace them and accept them, I think that's really what can help you to transform them. And I don't know in your specific case, but there are going to be time whenever you feel that you're being stuck, you can ask yourself, okay, what is this message? What am I here to learn? Or why do I feel this feeling of being in a rut or not being able to move forward? And what you can do is, you can go in meditation. You can simply close your eyes, or you can just ask the question, for instance, like you say the other time, just before you go to bed, asking your dreams to, share with you how, what the message is, or go in a walk, but you need to be in a space where, you sort of detach yourself from the situation. So you can create a space where you feel at peace, and then you can hear the message.
Yeah, because sometimes I've, ended up catching a cold out of nowhere. And someone has said to me, oh, it's just because you're resisting, you're in resistance. And I'm like, well, I actually feel physically sick. So, is this really all about my ego? Or am I actually sick? It's like...
It's amazing what...
Yeah.
So,
yes. I mean, the thing is, I would say that, the body talks to us all the time, in many different ways, and it has its messages as well. I would not, I would not take for face value whatever people would tell me, like, oh, because you have this ailment, that's what it means. You know what I mean? So you also need to be grounded and feel within yourself, does it resonate with me? Does it resonate with my intuition and my compass? You know what I mean? So, but it is true that, the body will always let you know, and that's, that's what's so important, is that whenever you go through fear, you really need to be very, very alert with what's going on in your body. In my case, I know that whenever I feel fear or anxiety, I feel contraction in my sternum. It's in my heart. That's where it goes bam, like very clearly. And that's when I know, okay, it's almost feel like this kind of adrenaline rush, like sometimes when you are like those challenges, like if you would meet a lion or if you would go skiing and then you just like at the edge of, almost to have an accident or whatever, in whatever the situation are where you feel that sort of very intense emotion in your body, that's really, what you might want to pay attention to. That lets you know what's going on. I know that Sarah is very good with that as well. To sort of, to feel that. But did you pull a card, Sarah, for us?
I did, yeah. I pulled 3 because they just kept popping out.
Okay.
So the first one, I used the Mermaid deck from Doreen Virtue, is accept heaven's help. You've prayed for help, so get out of the way and let heaven help you. Always a good reminder. And I'll go over what they mean. And then also divine magic, extra magical energy surrounds your situation right now. Expect miracles.
Okay. Yeah.
And then worthiness, know that you deserve to receive good in all ways.
Hello.
Yeah.
You're enough.
Yeah. So, I mean, really, it's just, it feels like what the fear energy is. It's like we're standing in front of that doorway going like, no, I can't move. It's going to be, a big monster on the other side.
Yes.
And then, our guidance is like, get out of the way. There's miracles. You're worthy. Do it.
Yeah.
And so we're just kind of, holding in that fear space. And I feel even as a as humans, I mean, we've had numerous lifetimes with lots of fear, and I feel like it's ingrained in us. So when things pop up, we may not even understand that. I mean, I have a fear of drowning, and I have no idea why. You know, I've never really drowned in this lifetime, or almost or anything, but that's there. And I have that fear of water, and but knowing that, you know, you can overcome those things and pass those things, and it feels even like in this lifetime with all the energies, you know, one moving more into the feminine grace and that balance of the masculine and feminine, and then just us elevating up as well. I feel like what we'll be seeing more and more is that there's less and less fear. So as we're facing each fear, it starts to change that energy. And the energy gets lighter. And that's where it feels like that divine magic's going to come in, to where it's not necessarily a fear-based energy, it's an exciting based energy. So we're going to start going through that more.
Yes.
Amazing.
So yeah, it just feels really powerful. So it may feel like a scary energy at this time, but eventually it's going to flip and be much more enlightened energy.
Yes. You know, and I know in my own situation, you know, with my book and writing the book and sharing all my very intimate details of my life, you know, it's been a very cathartic process. You know, I've learned so much, and because I really I've been going through a lot of fears also that, you know, that I've been having, and also realizing that you know, just to take an example with my father, you know, you know, we don't have like a very close connection. We never really did. We never had a close bond. And as I was going deeper into it, actually, I realized that what I was feeling was really a lack of connection, and I was yearning for that connection. I was yearning to have a heart-to-heart bond with my father, which never happened. You know, and for me, I feel somehow that I was afraid of it, you know, because I was judging myself. I was judging myself for the situation. I was judging myself that somehow, you know, it must be my fault that, you know, we're having this bad or lack of connection somehow, you know, and when I really was able to go deep and to open up and to feel that fear, that's when, you know, I broke down in tears, and that's when I felt like there was really a relief. There was really a relief, and now. Because before I felt fear for my father, you know, like every time I would go to see him, I would dread his judgment. I would dread, you know, whatever I would have to say, you know, about me or to me, or, you know, or even the fact that, you know, because he's my father, I have to go and see him. My parents were divorced, and I had to go and visit him. And every time, you know, I was dreading that. There was that fear all the time in my heart. And now, you know, I would say, well, I don't feel fear because I don't go and see him anymore. No, but that's also an option, right? To run away from the fear. But no, but you know, in that case, you know, I know I feel at peace. You know, I feel at peace with it, and I understand that, you know, it's not because. You know, your I would say your blood family does not necessarily have to be your best friends, or they don't have to be the people you can connect the most with, you know, and it's really it's very important to understand at some point that, you know, it's not that you don't love them, you love them wholeheartedly. It is simply that, you know, the quality of the connection, the intimacy that, you know, you can share with a very good friend, you can share another human being, you know, might not be there, and that's perfectly fine too. That is perfectly fine as well. So so that's, you know, that's the thing when you really start to, I would say, and you know, embrace all your emotions, because ultimately I think that was an emotion I felt a lot of fear towards too, you know, also with my mother, being able to come out of the closet and be completely open, and funnily enough, I would say the most maybe the most challenging part was for me to come out of the spiritual closet, come out of the angel closet,
Coming out of mine, yeah.
Yeah, right. That's also
What do you
something,
do? I'm like, ah.
right?
Mhm.
I mean, some of us feel fear, to say that, yeah, we believe in angels and we believe in that woo-woo stuff, because we're afraid of people's reaction.
Something that happened to me when I was been doing improv as well was I would freeze up. I would just freeze and during scenes, and I'm like, oh my God, like, why am I freezing? And the instructor said, because you haven't committed. You're more committed to the fear than you are to the character. And I went, oh my God. So I'm in my fear as as Jamie. And instead of like, what would Jamie do? No, I'm a character. So what would the character do? Like, it can do anything. So this is number one, is commit. Like, sometimes when we're not moving forward or we're stuck is because we're more committed to being stuck, if we're really honest, than to our goal, our dream. I'd love to know what it is that you really want to move forward towards that you don't feel enough for, so we can support you to actually make it happen. But, and the second thing is that we're going to fail, and we need to fail gloriously. And so when we do fail, and even when I'm committed as a good character and I'm really committed to the character in improv, sometimes the scene fails. But you know what I learned in improv? This is what we do in class, is every time the scene bombs, we turn to the audience and we go, yay! So instead of beating ourselves up, and I just now it's like, if I screw up, and I screw up all the time, just so you know, little things, I'm like, oh my God, or I was cooking the other day and then I was so excited, and then I don't know what happened. I just tilted the plate a little bit and all of my food fell off onto the floor.
Oh no.
And I got so upset momentarily, and then I went like this. Yay! I mean, it's just so, anyway, you can do it in life. So just to, not beat yourself up. It's a normal human tendency, and to, and ask yourself, what are you committed to? So
Yes.
There's somebody vacuuming in my hallway. Can you guys hear that?
No, we cannot. So,
good.
But one of the message I really would love, for all of you to hear and to truly comprehend in your heart is to really, accept the fear. And not see your fear as an enemy, but really see it as a guide, and see it as, as really, messenger, because it is really there to let you know that there is something great waiting for you behind the door, if you're courageous enough to open the door, and the thing is, once we do that, we keep beating ourselves up sometimes, like, what took me so long? What took me so long? But the truth of the matter is, you were not ready. So, so you need to really know that, you always do the best you can in any situation. Mm-hmm.
Sorry to interrupt you. And like you said at the beginning, Paul, like we're more afraid of our greatness. That's what we're really afraid. We're not afraid of our darkness. Mm-hmm. We're afraid of how good. And I just want to share one thing too, that in my own experience, I remember I got a short story published years ago, and I posted it on Facebook, and very few people commented. And I was shocked, and I thought, not everybody is going to support you in your greatness. Just know that.
True. That's very
but they might criticize you when you're down. They might criticize you when you're great. That doesn't matter. But just so you know, not everybody will support you in your greatness, and so be great anyway. Because it's in our DNA, our spiritual DNA to grow.
Which is why it's also, to me, that's why I speak so much about joy, is because joy is a sense of fulfillment. Is that no matter what happens, you're fulfilled and you're content, and you feel in your heart that this is enough. Feeling that joy is enough. You don't need to have people's recognition. You don't need to have people telling you, it's okay for you to feel joy. You don't need that, because it's there. And that's why for so many of us, we keep I would say the problem of not being enough is because we're looking for people's validation. We're looking for people approval that will tell us you are enough, because that's really what it comes down to. It's like we're looking for the world to tell us who you are is enough.
Yep.
The truth of the matter is, the world can put you on the pedestal and on the mountains on top high one day, and the day after it will just put you in the gutter, because that's and that's the whole thing with the fame system and how it works. So that world really will drive you crazy, because like Prince said, I put that quote in my print on my Facebook. He said that, I usually don't care about what people say, because it's always a reflection of who they are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So ultimately, yeah, that's
so liberating, right? When you realize like the only person's opinion that counts is your own.
Yes, and to know that that you're stepping into your truth, because at the end of the day, you will only be our own judge. I guarantee this to you 1,000%. All of us who's going to pass away when we're going to transition, the only judge is going to be you. There's not going to be nobody else. There's not going to be, someone with white beard sitting on a throne telling you, oh, I was right, I was wrong. No, you are going to be the one who will determine, okay, these lessons was done. This maybe, and that one I definitely need a review, So you'll be the one, yes.
If you guys ever hear fear creeping up on you, I hear my dad's voice. My dad was so funny, and he used to say this, and he used to bug me, but now I actually say to myself, like, Jamie, just get on with it, son. Just get on with it. Years later, there's actually a Hay House book by a Scottish author called Just Get On With It. This must be a Scottish expression. Just get on with it, son.
Yeah.
Anyway, I had to share that.
Your dad is sticking through the book.
Totally.
Yeah, exactly. So Jimmy, what would you say is your greatest fear?
My greatest fear? Ooh, boy, gosh. I have to say, I have a lot of fears, and I have to say, I've come a long way, Mirda, so you're not alone, and anybody else out there. I used to have so much anxiety. You wouldn't even believe how much. I used to go to work, beat myself up. I used to have so much.
Okay, all right. Just cut it down into 3. No.
I know. But my point is that that a spiritual practice really helped me, like to learn to be gentle with myself and learn to slowly. It was a process, and to learn to let go of the fears. And now they come up, and it's like, okay, there it is. There's fear, but I'm in charge ultimately. Mm-hmm. My greatest fear probably is, like Sarah's, probably not fulfilling my dreams or what I came here to do on the planet. Mm-hmm. And so it's so ironic. And then, procrastination comes up and all sorts of things. But, also, one of my teachers used to say, this is not a dress rehearsal. It doesn't mean we have to stress out, but it's a reminder to like get into action and take inspired action. It's not a dress rehearsal. Really go for your dreams. Oh no. What happened? Oh, sorry. Okay, I'm here. Okay, sorry. My computer just went really weird there. My computer just went really weird there. Sorry. I couldn't see you guys. Anyway, so yeah, just to go beyond the fear and just to keep pushing beyond the fear gently. And then, like Paul said, you move into a place of excitement, mostly excitement, and a little bit of fear means you're going in the right direction. Yeah. So I have a few tips if I can share. I'm going to share just a few law of attraction tips. Mm-hmm. It kind of sums up everything we've been talking about anyways, but repetition is the one skill. So it's really 5 tips really that to help you go beyond fear. So the first thing, like Paul said, is identified. Here, I have this on my wall. It says, do more of what makes you happy. Or ask yourself, what would I do if I wasn't afraid? Like I said before, nothing happens until you decide. So think about what it is that you want, that you're afraid of. So that's the first step. The second step is, I really believe, is that to surround yourself with people who lift you higher, who support you. Don't go to the hardware store for milk. Like Cheryl Richard would say, because there's some people that are going to poo-poo your dreams.
Right. Yeah.
Like I have people like, oh, I want to do this. I'm like, why? Like, don't go to those people. Come to this show. Share your dreams on our page. We want you to follow your joy. So follow your joy.
Yeah, just leave the bucket of crabs, because usually that's what it is. Like those crabs, and when you see one crab trying to to escape, then all the other crabs pulling down.
Exactly. So make sure you find your tribe. The next step is is to, if this is the vibrational scale. So if you're down here of fear and what you want is over here, you don't have to go from here to here overnight. You can be in the vibration of your desire a little bit. So for example, if you want to try public speaking, maybe your first step is not to do it. Maybe your first step is just to write it and then test it out in the living with your friends. Or maybe it's just to sign up for a Toastmasters class, but not go yet. Like just take a little inch into your stretch zone. Don't go to your panic zone, go to the stretch zone. So that's the other step. And the next step, I can't remember what this is, 4 or 5. The next step is to have a spiritual practice. I did hollow sync meditation for a year, an hour. I'm not saying you have to do this, but I was that nervous. I had that much anxiety. I did not know how to relax. I did hollow sync meditation for a year, listening in my earbuds. And I sat for an hour a day. I think it was for at least 6 months. And then I kept going with other kind of, so daily spiritual practice also to relax. And the last one is to celebrate in a journal the little signs. We sometimes, like, I've just planted a little garden in my patio and I love it. And the cilantro is starting to come out. And, I'm so happy the cilantro is coming out. I celebrate. But with our goals and our dreams, we're like, it's not working. Forget it. I have a little journal called my Evidence of My Dreams Coming True journal. And at the end of the day, I'm like, what evidence was there that, I got support from Paul and this and that, and the universe is supporting you. Celebrate how the universe is every day, and you'll see that it will grow. Those are my steps. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Thank you for sharing.
Accept heaven's help.
Accept heaven's help. Exactly.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that's really beautiful. And yes, I would really say that, first of all, whenever you feel stuck in any situation, ask yourself, okay,
but I'm giving you money. I don't think I have money right now.
ask yourself, what would you be doing, if you were not afraid? And I would definitely, say that the second step would be to truly speak to your fear and see if you could maybe give a name to your fear. Call it Becky, call it, James or Whitney or Carlos or whatever you want. Name. Okay, here is Carlos again. Okay, it's showing up, what does Becky want to say? So, see if you can truly bring a sense of I would say, friendship with it, or a sense of acceptance, because then that's when you can truly release the panic and release I would say that anxiety, really, that you have with the fear, and start to dance with it by asking it, okay, what are you there to teach me? What do you want to teach me? What do you truly want to tell me that I am resisting? Because that's truly, I would say the biggest message in the biggest underlying message in the fear is that I am resisting my greatness. I am resisting, truly my power. I am resisting my courage. So that's, in essence, that's what it really is, So what am I resisting? What do I not want to see or to face? Because it won't kill you. Fear won't kill you. The only thing to fear is fear itself. And I think that Winston Churchill has said that too. Fear is the only thing to fear. So we're 2 minutes to the hour. We'd love to conclude maybe
Sarah.
Meditation.
Sarah can.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
2-minute meditation.
2-minute meditation. Let's go.
Okay. Well, maybe we can go a little bit over. If
We can. Yeah.
Just saying.
Run to the beach. Go see your guides. All right. Close your eyes and take a deep breath in. And then exhale all the way out. And then roll your shoulders back. And then inhale and exhale slowly. Let's envision around you a divine golden light that starts at the top of your head, a few inches above. And it forms a bubble all around you. golden light that moves down your body, surrounding your body, and all the way down at your feet, connecting. You're in a golden bubble. The place of safety and serenity, peace and joy. Go ahead and breathe that in. As you breathe in the golden light, feel all those energies. And on the exhale, let go of all the negative fears, worry, and doubt. And see those play before you. What do you see? The fears of failure, fears of being let down, fears of not having enough or being enough. Go ahead and allow those fears to be portrayed in front of you. If you're not able to see them, just sense them. And then on another inhale, breathe in that golden light. And all those fears before you, go ahead and blow out that golden light that melts those fears away, those worries, those energies that are not you. They've never been you. And then go ahead and do another. If the fears are still hanging tight, breathe in the golden light. And then exhale, blowing out all the fears, watching them dissolve and dissipate. The dog barks.
Dog agrees.
You just told one of your fear, get away.
Yeah.
He's protector of fears.
Yeah.
Say that.
And then when you're ready and all of your fears are dissolved, open your eyes.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us, for being here.
Yeah.
And yes, thank you for joining, and we'll love you for watching. So see you next time.
Thank you. Dream big.
Yes.
There's nothing to fear.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye.